presented by Parkview Sports Medicine and airing exclusively on MyTV Fort Wayne.
Welcome back here to Indy. We are just underway. The puck just dropped here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Tommy Schegler with you. Komets going at it with rival Indy Fuel. Second game of a back-to-back night matchup, home and home between these two guys. And it was the Fuel getting the win in overtime in a close game last night. Talked to head coach Gary Graham down in the locker room about an hour ago. He said once again, Komets have to stay disciplined. 6 penalties last night committed by the Komets. Fuel struggled on the power play, but nonetheless, you ruin your rhythm when you're giving up so many penalties to the other side. So he wants to try to limit the penalties. That has been kind of one of the regular messages we've been hearing, as this is going to go all the way down, and icing waved off, so they will play on. And, you know, it's been a regular message by Gary Graham throughout the course of the season. The Komets have been taking way too many penalties, or I should say committing too many penalties all year long, so want to limit that. He also did not like the amount of puck possession that the Komets had. He said they have to be in the Fuel zone more and keep their D working. They're a very speedy team, good skill, and they have a great forecheck as the first save of the game coming the way of Spencer Martin, who is in goal tonight for the Komets. Now they have a 2-on-1 going, and a wrister goes just by the right side of the post by Koszerski. And back come the Fuel the other way. Last point that Grammer wanted to make was just kind of the rust that occurred. Obviously, last night was the first game that the Komets had played since November 28th, basically 2 weeks. They only played 1 game, so good to get 3 games in this weekend, as playing it off the boards is Perry, and now getting it in deep. Grammer wanted to see just a great, centering feed in front. Nice little poke check away by the Fuel, and they clear it out. Wanted to see just a regular old kind of boring road game kind of game plan. Dump it in, chase it, get a good forecheck going, and try to grind out 2 points. Belzile, a wrister that goes wide of the netminder for the Fuel. Getting the start tonight on that side of things is Shane Owen. And that one in front, a beautiful chance for Belzile, and it went wide. Komets off the mark early on. Hamonic, though, setting one in, and that one steered off into the corner. Fuel finally able to get it out, but a good amount of pressure put on by the Komets in this particular shift. Garrett Meurs now working down into the corner. And here's Daniels. Daniels firing and fighting it off is Owen and covering up. But a good start for your Fort Wayne Komets. Belzile, you heard me mention his name in the starting lineup tonight. That's a guy that we have been missing from the lineup for the last several weeks. Wanted to get him back. He's been out for over a month. Played in his first game back last night. And so it's good to see him back. Obviously get Sean Szydlowski back this weekend as well. That along with some of the guys that have been sent back down. Drew Daniels, Garrett Meurs. And Komets finally starting to look a little bit more like the team that started this season. Now this is Szydlowski working at the hash mark. Now down deep into the corner. 2 defenders on him. And still fought for. Perlini falls to the ice. And Thompson, nice poke check away. Perlini at the dot. Wrister on the other side. Missed by Szydlowski. Fanned on the first one, and then Owen pokes it into the corner. Wow, a great opportunity for the Komets. Szydlowski, though, the pressure's still coming. Weber with it. That one bounced around and then off into the corner. Komets really putting up the pressure early on in this game, and the Fuel unable to get anything going. That one sent in deep as the Komets will get a change. No score here early on between the Komets and the Indy Fuel. Tommy Schegler with you here on a Saturday night down here in the freshly renovated Coliseum on the fairgrounds. That will go for icing. Really did a fabulous job. We talked about that during the broadcast here last year. Fantabulous job by the crews down here to renovate this old facility built in the 1920s. And you never could tell by being in here. They got a pretty good crowd here tonight. Say maybe 4,000-ish. Wait to get that official number as the face-off is won back to the Komets. Cody Soul sends it in deep. And here's Hill. He tries to leave it, and that one is misplayed, but rewinding and coming back again. Nice little poke check at the blue line by Soul. Lavoie. Oh, tried the toe drag and just picking the pocket right there was Kyle Thomas. Nice play. Here is Perry, recently traded for, just in the last week, from Alaska for Civic. That one deflected in front. And here they come. Clark centering feed and score! And here will come all the teddy bears as Alex Lavoie nets the early goal. Teddy bears aplenty. This will take a bit of time, and what a play by Lavoie. The centering feed came in from Dylan Clark, who netted the game winner in overtime last night, and kind of handcuffed Lavoie. He had to play it off his skates and got it back to the stick and was able to poke it right through the 5-hole of a sprawling Spencer Martin. And just like that, first goal of the game goes the way of the Indy Fuel. And this is the first time I've seen one of these teddy bear toss deals in person. A kind of a wild scene. And I'm fascinated to see what the process will be of getting the ice cleared. Obviously, you see a lot of the Fuel players trying to help in the process. The Komets have decided this is your show and it's your job to clean up the mess. Bunch of trash cans. Yeah, now they're kind of across here.
On My TV Fort Wayne.
Would hop up into third, and then they get Evansville, a team that's been struggling tomorrow night. Evansville in last place in the division, so you'd like to think at home be able to take care of business there and get out of this weekend with 5 out of a possible 6 points. But they got to get the win in order to do that. The refs wanting the goal lights turned off as they were still kind of going from the celebration teddy bear toss. And we are back underway here in Indy. Fuel dump it down in. Waugh announced here as the goal scorer. Dylan Clark fighting for it here on the near side boards. Komets come away with it. Perry plays it off his skates and then moves it ahead. Szydlowski receives it here on the near side. Centering feed. And dumping it down in is Weber. Perry, a good play behind the net. Comes around, spins it. Keep it in deep, pinching down his Soul. He'll send it around to the other side. Weber, point position. Backhands it down in. Komets trying to keep that pressure up. One-timer sent in, rolling puck after it had been deflected. Easily covered up by the goalie Shane Owen. 6'1", 182 pounds, played in 13 games so far this year for the Fuel. He is 5-8 in those games, but only a 2.25 goals against average. So maybe he hasn't gotten as much support, but he himself has not played that poorly. On the other side of things, it's Spencer Martin getting the start for the Komets. He's played in 8 games for the K's, 5-3 in those. He's had 2 shutouts, but still, even with those 2 shutouts in the 8 games, has a 2.87 goals against average. So it's kind of been feast or famine for Spencer when it comes to his different appearances for the K's. Timeout on the ice right now. We're getting ready to get things back going. All right, Brett Perlini's line comes back out. Garrett Thompson along with Garrett Meurs. And here's Szydlowski. Wrister on the way. That one goes high. Komets have had some great opportunities and have just been off the mark with their shots. And that's what was really kind of upsetting about Lavoie netting that goal through the first 3-4 minutes of this game. Ice really tilted down to the fuel zone. Komets had all kinds of great pressure going, cycling the puck well, and several really good opportunities, but have just been off the mark. Thompson a couple misses, Szydlowski a couple misses. Perlini, Thompson, and Szydlowski stay out there right now. And here is Daniels. Daniels sending one in. Owen was able to see that one cleanly. Re-corralling. Now it's loose in front. Trying to clear, and a good fight there, won by the K's. They reverse it. Weber will send it in. That one deflected halfway there, and Owen still on top of it, and it's cleared by the Fuel. And here they come back the other way, kind of ping-ponged around, and now will come down for icing. We'll go down to the other side of the ice. Be a D-zone face-off for the K's. That same Perlini line staying out there. Stroh going to face it off against Pearls. Jardine winds and fires. Rebound in front. And that goes off the side of the cage. Oh, right on top of it was Rhett Bly. And an open net as contact in front. And we're going to have a penalty to Bly. Interference, the call. And so the Komets will get their first power play opportunity of the night, but a really good opportunity right before the penalty call. Either way, Komets going to get a power play, goalie interference after the rebound opportunity went off the side of the cage. Bly caught Spencer Martin, knocked his helmet off. Komets win the faceoff. And here's Meurs over to Southhorn, who shovels it along to Belzile. Belzile sends it in. Rebound coming down on the goal line. Belzile re-corrals, gets it up, point position. And winding around is Southhorn. Back to Belzile. He'll walk it in at top of the circle, and that one deflects out, and the Komets will have to reload. Southhorn, some stick handling, gets it in. Embach leaves it for Southie. Meurs, that one deflected in front, never got through, and unable to clear the Fuel. Backhander, Meurs, one-timer all the way, Belzile, rebound, score! Mike Embach in front ties the game. And the Komets cashing in on 23% of their power plays coming into this one. And in their first opportunity of the night, they get one by Shane Owen and knot it up. Doesn't get any easier than that for Emmer, as that one popped right down to him. Komets really good job of keeping it in the zone. That one-timer sent in, and then a juicy rebound for Embach has us knotted up at one apiece. Kosierski gloves it. That one deflected, unable to clear. Nice little back check by Shasma to poke it away. Sent back in, loose in front. One-timer knocked down, and we're going to have a playing with the high stick call. So the face-off will come out of the Komets zone as Indy played it with the high stick. Arguing his point to referee Kenny Anderson is Garrett Bembridge. It's going to come all the way down over and it's going to turn into another power play for the K's. My apologies. I thought it was a playing it with the high stick. It was actually a high sticking call. So the penalty going against Hall, Tim Hall. And so the Komets now have another power play after they just scored a power play goal. See if they can get it at a 2-for-2 clip with a goal here. That one cleared down that time. Giving chase is Dylan Clark. Daniels fights with him behind the net. Garrett Thompson misplays it, and Clark is pesky back there. Komets finally gain possession and start to bring it up. Oh, and then fanning on the pass is Daniels. Comes right back down to Martin. Minute 13 left to go in this power play opportunity that so far has not produced much for the Komets. Wheeling it around the board, Szydlowski, and that one's going to come out to center, and a 2-on-1 developing. And a wrister set, a good save, Martin. Nice shorthanded opportunity for Cody Sherab. Komets coming down the other way. Southhorn running the point. One-timer by Szydlowski, fought off by Owen, and we get a whistle. Oh, somehow all the way on the other end of the ice, the net had come off the moorings for Spencer Martin all the way down the Komets goal. That's where the whistle was coming from. The net had come off the moorings. Now Kenny Anderson getting together with his two linesmen. Perhaps talk about exactly where the face-off will now be. Fuel head coach Scott Hillman wants an explanation. And then the face-off will come out of the zone. 41 seconds left on the power play for the Komets. We are knotted up at 1 here in the first period. Tommy Schegler here with you on My TV Fort Wayne. It's my first broadcast since the very first week of the season. Been way too long. Definitely doesn't feel like hockey outside right now. Crazy weekend. Had the windows down for a portion of the drive down here just so I could say I did. And an offside call will come back out of the zone with 31 seconds left in the power play. And as good and crisp and efficient as the first power play of the night looked for the Komets, we've gone to the other end of the spectrum in this particular 2-minute penalty situation. Not much to show for it as Southhorn plays it in his zone. Now over to Meurs. That one goes off the skate of White, and the Fuel able to just whip it right back down with 10 seconds left. This will be the last rush before Hall will come out of the box. Owen gloves it, and the power play now over for the Komets. Not much there. Hall quickly speeds out. D to D, Southhorn over to Soul. This is Belzile. Belzile. And shot on net by Thompson. Nice pad save by Owen. Komets gain possession at center, though. Weber, the outlet to Belzile. Right back to Weber. And Hall retreats back. Hadman on the forecheck. Goes back for the line change. Lavoie on the forecheck. And They intercept the pass at center, break it up, send it back in. Soul is there. Quickly closing that time was Sherib. And dumping it down in deep now is Stroh for the Fuel. Szydlowski tries to send it along. It pops right up and not out. Beaupre backhands it to Perry, and Perry is able to get to center. Wrists one that goes wide. Bouncing puck to Shaftsma on the other side. He'll send it in deep. Szydlowski now head up. Point to Daniels. Daniels, nice little pass in front. Backhander save, Owen. Shaftsma on the doorstep had a good opportunity, but Owen, as that one goes up into the Fuel bench. Nice save there that time as Jamie Shaftsma a point-blank look at things, but Shane Owen was all over it. And we remain tied at 1. Brett Perlini lining it up on the dot with Josh Britton, the former Comet. And Britton wins that battle. Down into the corner, Stroh backhands it as the Fuel are able to get through the forecheck, but as they clear, it is intercepted at neutral and now fought for by Weber. Running it down is Szydlowski. Szydlowski just stalking Brett Marshall. Here comes Thompson over the blue line. That one taken away and pitchforked out of the zone back to center. Komets with possession. One touch over to Perry, who loses it, and an offside call as Seckel just could not get back onside before Clark came over the blue line. Belzile lines it up. He loses that one to Lavoie. And the Fuel dump it in. Something working for the Fuel now. Half wall. You get it down in deep. Goes all the way out to Martin. He's able to cover it up. We'll get another face-off. Mentioned Parkview Sports Medicine early during the Teddy Bear Toss. Our fantastic title sponsor here of Comet Hockey on MyTV. When injury knocks you out of the game, call PSM 260-266-4007. Parkview Sports Medicine can get you back in action quickly and safely. Face-off won by the Fuel. They get it down in deep. This is Lavoie. He sends it over to Hill. Hall half wall. Lavoie was cutting in backdoor. Risker, pad save by Martin, and the Komets are able to clear with a high lob that's gloved at center. Garrett Meurs just absolutely laid into Franzen. And a hand pass ruled. Meurs upset with things. Of course, Franzen had the puck in his hand when Meurs just absolutely laid him out. Really laid himself out. He plowed into him, but Franzen didn't move. 6'3", 196-pound brick wall as Meursy gives up about 20 pounds and about 3 inches to the big fella. All right, here are the Fuel. They lob it up. That one's going to roll down into the K zone. And that is where Beaupre will play it. Round to Soul. Played half wall, now down deep into the K zone. Perry tries to clear. Bly intercepts. And now the Komets come away with it again. Szydlowski's pass taken by Indy, and this is Bly, one touching it. Soul, the outlet quickly to Perry, trying to catch the Fuel on a line change, unable to field it cleanly, and now a fight for it on the near side wall. About 6 minutes, just over, left to play here in the first period, all tied up at 1. Mike Embach scoring a power play goal for the Komets to tie the game at 1. Lavoie scoring just before that for the Fuel. And this is Szydlowski taking it over the blue line and now goes in deep. Thompson fighting for it down in deep, and now Pearls on the half wall. Komets keep it in. Perlini. Szydlowski. That one goes wide into the corner. Daniels over to Sid. Jumps over his stick and into the corner. Could have been a prime opportunity. Played high off the glass and out of the zone by Clark. Daniels helps it along back into the Fuel zone where they'll rewind and come back in the other direction. Both teams having a hard time getting it through neutral at this point. Getting anything going. Taken down on the play. Weber. He had absolutely pinned Lavoie to the ground. Now the K's back the other way. Daniels getting into action with Meurs. Daniels now has it and scores! A nice 2-on-1 play by Garrett Meurs and Drew Daniels, and all of a sudden the Komets have taken the lead 2-1. Good to see the defenseman getting involved in the rush. Third goal of the season for Daniels. His 13th point overall as he has 10 assists on the year. And the Komets take a 2-1 lead here in the first period. So here is Solar off the face-off win. Running it down, Kosierski. Looks to center. Nice intercept, and coming back the other way is Stroh. Stroh with some speed up the right wing to the dot. Nice pause, and then he was just off the mark with the wrister. Back with it now. That one knocked down in front and now off to the corner. Kosierski winds and fires it. Komets come into the zone, but Thomas taking off the play. Back and forth these two teams go. Scott Hillman gets a line change for the Fuel going. Britton on Hamonic. And here come the K's. Perlini over the blue line. That deflects off a skate and back out to center where Southhorn has it over to Szydlowski. Now they retreat. Hamonic will look things over as they try to get the rush going through neutral. Deflected out of the air by Szydlowski. And an offside call. We're going to get a timeout down on the ice. Komets up 2-1. You're watching My Komets on My TV.
If there's exclusively on My TV Fort Wayne.
Back here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum, Komets on the road taking on the Indy Fuel, and they've just taken the lead in this one, 2-1, but the Fuel now have it deep down in the K zone. Hall fighting for it, and out to the point. Bembridge winds and fires, fighting it off, and poking it out of there is Spencer Martin, and the K's come back the other way. This is Embach to Meurs. Meurs down in front. Meurs goes to the forehand, and a big save by Owen. Wow, not sure how he saved that one. I think it squirted through. And maybe one of the defensemen were able to keep it as we take a look at on the replay. I think it did. This will be a better look. And I was just fighting it off in front. It did get out of there. It got through the wickets, but never got across the goal line. Defenseman Johnny on the spot able to get it out of there once it got through the 5-hole from Owen. Fighting off a defenseman and showing some strength. Garrett Meurs there to get it back over to the forehand. Kosierski booted out of the circle, so it'll be Perry, and he loses that one to Britton. Fuel able to clear it all the way down. That's going to be an icing. We'll go back to the other side. Tommy Szydlowski with you. Of course, we'll have all the highlights of this one tonight on your home for the Komets, 21 Live. And then don't forget, Komets back at home tomorrow. It's the Evansville Icemen. Face-off one. It jumps over the stick of Beaupre, and then he fans on it at center. Luckily, Kyle Thomas able to get it back to Soul, and we get it down in deep. Szydlowski battling with a defender. That one deflected down right behind Owen. White with Perry closing quickly here on the near side. Back down behind the goal line. And looking to come out with it is Andres Franzen. He gets it to Britton. Good forecheck put on by the Komets, and they intercept it at center. Szydlowski, 1-on-3 to Szydlowski, and the wrister is saved by Shane Owen, but some good pressure being applied by the Komets. You can tell they are buzzing a little bit. Had the 2-on-1 scored by the defenseman Daniels, and then basically 2 shifts later, a near goal by Garrett Meurs. Had another good opportunity that time. Fuel try to get it up quickly. Turnover, Szydlowski with no one on. Looks and now sends one in. That one's knocked down by Kyle Stroh. Fuel try to come back up with it. It's Bly. Bly wheeling and looking. Sends it down in behind Spencer Martin, goaltender for the Komets. Daniels wheels it around the boards. Garrett Thompson tries to center, goes all the way across. Sean Szydlowski trying to motor it down, unable to do so before Miskovic turns and fires it down the ice for the Fuel. Both teams getting a line change. Here's Szydlowski still out there. He's walking in, and that one nicely poked away in the slot right before Sid got ready to pull the trigger. Hall backhands it down, cross corner. Southhorn backhand, pretty one, over to Mike Embach. Scored a goal earlier in this period. Garrett Meurs over to Emmer. Emmer on the right side, leaves it for Belzile. Now point position, jumped over the stick of Southhorn, but he dives and keeps it in deep. Fought off the play nicely, Emmer. And here come the Fuel down Main Street. Nice little poke check away, though. Embach with some room as he comes in. Tries to cut to the middle, and then it's poked away. 1 minute left in the period. 1 minute exactly right now. Komets are up 2-1 here in the first. Fuel trying to get something going, get some momentum headed into the locker room. Seckel taking off the play. Clark gets it half wall, tries to center. It's still loose, and Perry comes away with it for the Komets. Off the boards to Szydlowski as they come across the blue line. And Perry loses an edge. And here come the Fuel back the other way. Dylan Clark fighting for it. Seckel tries to help him. And Matson going to send it over the glass and into the mesh. So we will get a face-off outside of the Komets zone with 20 seconds left to go here in the first. Check that. It will be just to the right of Spencer Martin. Must have say it's that offering by Seckel was deflected. I did not see that. But either way, Martin stands at the crease, watching the face-off between Stroh and Belzile. Belzile, 50-50 puck taken away by Sherab. Sherab centering, deflected back down behind the goal. Point position, sending back in. Sherab now poke checked away by Martin and off into the corner. Hamonic for the Komets, and Mike Embach as well, and that pin will result in the end of the period. Komets fall down 1-0 in this one, but battle back with a power play goal by Mike Embach, and then another goal by defenseman Drew Daniels. And we are sitting at 2-1 at the end of the first 20. We're going to take a quick break, talk a little bit more about the first period. You're watching My Komets on My TV. After the first 20 minutes, also hold an advantage in shots on goal, 19-7. Things looking pretty good for the Komets. Actually, in the official box that they just handed me, shots on goal are 19-6. Scoreboard here inside the arena says 19-7, but I'll go with the official box score, 19-6. Komets 1 of 2 on the power play. Mike Embach tallying that goal a little bit later on, about 7 minutes later. Drew Daniels netting the other one for the K's. For the Fuel, it was Alex Lavoie scoring the lone Fuel goal. All right. Josh Britton will face it off for the Fuel. Linesman tending to a spot on the ice they're trying to repair real quickly. Right at center there. A little chunk had come up. They got that squared away. Alex Belzile trots out from the bench. And he'll face it off to start the second period with Josh Britton, former Fort Wayne Komet. And it's Belzile winning that one cleanly. So the Komets will be on the attack to start things off here in the second. But the Fuel able to intercept, and it ping-pongs around, sending it in deep is Indy. Southhorn plays it off the backhand. And here come the K's through the forecheck and into center. Through neutral, poked away. Playing it off the boards. Coming to center, that one blocked down by Hamonic in front, and covering up is Martin. Nice, sneaky little pass from behind the net by Dylan Clark. Squirted out to a wide open Josh Britton, but he was unable to knock it past Spencer Martin, who pounced on it pretty quickly. Hamonic knocking it down, kind of deflected it there behind the net, and first good chance of the second period goes the way of the Fuel. Alex Lavoie gonna now go at it with Brett Perlini. Lavoie gets the better of that one, but Marshall can't handle it. They'll come back out to center and rewind things. Bembridge dumps it in, stopped there by Martin. He plays it around to the near side. Centering feed out to Daniels. Daniels with the head up, but a little too much on that pass to Thompson, and it will be icing back down to the other end. Parkview Sports Medicine is our title sponsor here of Komet Hockey on My TV Fort Wayne. Third year they have been our title sponsor, and whether you're looking for an elite performance training program or a comprehensive fitness program, Parkview Sports Medicine has what you need. Give them a call, 260-266-4007. Face off one cleanly, gloved down by Martin on the shot that was sent in. Still in the zone. Bly tries to get it down in deep. He's taken off the play, saving it and throwing it back in deep. Kevin Quick, it rolls all the way around to the near side. Poked right in front of Martin there. Dangerous spot. Off into the corner now. Bly battles in the corner. Also in there, Kyle Stroh. It comes back out to center. Play there by Franzen. He's taken off the play, and here comes Daniels. Szydlowski. Szydlowski winding and firing, knocked down by Quick. And now in front, nobody home. Beaupre, though, saves it, keeps it in the zone. And now it's Szydlowski and Thompson. That one's poked away from him quickly by Lavoie. Lavoie now with some space. That one knocked down Centering feed. Marshall with some space. Wrister knocked down. Still in front. Martin. And the Komets come away with it. Cody Soul will send it down into the fuel zone. Line change for the Komets. Jamie Shasma, the captain there. That one saucered up into the air. Corralled by Kyle Thompson. Slips a defender. But the Fuel bring it back up. This is Bembridge, and barely onside was Lavoie. Pad save, another pad save, still in front, covered up by Martin. Couple of nice opportunities by the Fuel in a flurry, and Martin stands the test. Scott Hillman's team coming out with some fire to start the second period. Putting some pressure on the Komets. The Josh Britton line will come back out right now. Britton not able to win that one against Belzile, and it's Belzile with it. He shimmies one along to Embach. That one's intercepted, and here come the Fuel. Seckel trying to fight with it on the near side board, centered, and coming away with it is Hamonic for the Komets. That one helped along by Garrett Meurs all the way down to Owen, who feels some pressure and covers up. So we'll get a face-off here in the Fuel zone, 16:58. Early portions of the second period. Komets up 2-1. Here in the early going. Komets really looking and talking a lot in this last little stretch of the schedule where they had a lot of practice time. Rare bit for Gary Graham to kind of go back to the basics a little and talk over things with his team, as they've had just one game basically in the last 14 days before last night's game, and talked a lot about consistency. Had a meeting with his captains about the little things and the way to be consistent. The Komets have had trouble with that as Franzen intercepts it at the blue line, but they'll have to retreat back so everybody can get onside. Running it down now is Weber. He's taken off the play momentarily, but the Komets are able to clear, and with some speed, here's Daniels. Perlini down Main Street, knocked down in front, never made it through to Owen, and back come the Fuel the other way. Stroh helps it along, and it'll come all the way down as the Fuel get a line change. Brembridge out there with Hall, hopping off the bench, and an offside. Szydlowski got into the zone a little too quickly. Reminder, this the second game of a 3-game weekend for the Komets. Are back in action tomorrow night at home against Evansville. 5 o'clock is the start time. Still seats available. Get those through Ticketmaster. The first of 7 straight home games for the Komets through the rest of December. So a lot of opportunities. Go on out and see the K's in the Coliseum. You should do so. Everybody's coming up probably on a little bit of time off for the holidays. Why not take in a little hockey while you're at it? Bembridge plays it down behind his net and now receives it at center. Backhands it along, and it's a nice pass. Coming open, Lavoie, and pad save by Martin on the backhander by Lavoie. Komets able to clear. Kosierski now dumps it down in. And Perry, big hit. Centering feed, and no one there except for a defenseman from the Fuel, and they'll be able to break the zone. Come out the center, down the left side with some speed, and Wrister is knocked away right before the trigger was pulled. Komets come away with it. This is Kosierski. Kosierski waits, sauces it over to Southhorn, and that one gloved down on the shot attempt. Nice save by Owen. Belzile and Britton will go at it again here on the dot just to the right of the netminder. Shane Owen for the Fuel. Fuel getting the win last night in the first end of the back-to-back. Home and home between these two squads in overtime, 3-2. Garrett Meurs sends one on. That one deflected in front but goes wide. Belzile was there and still has possession. He wheels around. Gets it out to the point. Southhorn keeps it in as he dumps it down in. Meurs trying to track it down in the far side corner. Gets it up point position. Hamonic sends one in. Traffic in front, but Owen hanging on. Good flurry by the Komets. And Belzile tried to redirect that one in front. Did so, just was off the mark. Otherwise, that would have been a really tough save for Owen, and we could have been looking at 3-1. And Britton booted out of the face-off circle. Instead, it'll be Sherab. He wins it against Brett Perlini. And here come the Fuel. This is Bly trying to run it down. He does battle with Weber. Weber going to win that one most of the time. Significant size advantage on the smaller forward, Bly. Here's Stroh. Stroh's got Bly in the middle. That one fought off. Juicy rebound in front, and that one goes wide. Penalty coming up on the Komets. As forced out of the zone is Jardine, and a whistle will come there as Thompson got a stick on it, but it is going to be a power play for the Fuel. Drew Daniels trying to prevent a prime opportunity for the Fuel. Daniels, couple words with some of the fans as he made his way into the penalty box. First power play of the night for the Fuel. We talked about needing to limit the penalties. Komets got into the second period.
2 minutes for hooking. Time of the penalty.
Hooking the official call. That one wound and fired upon.
It's time for another Sunkick Brewery.
Hall fights for it.
Sunkick Brewery is the official craft beer of yours.
And winding from the point, all kinds of traffic in front. An interference call is going to go on the captain, Miskovic. Zach Miskovic is headed to the box for interference. He was the point position man and fired that thing in from the point. Of course, my eyes go towards the goal and follow the puck, but it was behind the play. Miskovic called for interference, and so what was a power play for just moments, 22 seconds, for the Fuel, now going to turn into a 4-on-4 situation for the next minute and 38. And then the Komets will get a little bit of power play time for 22 seconds at the end.
Fuel penalty number 3, Zach Miskovic. 2 minutes for interference. Time of the penalty, 6:14. Miskovic, minor penalty for interference.
All right, so Miskovic in the box for interference, and 4-on-4 now play, 2-1. Komets still in front. And Britton wheels around, gets it up to Jardine at the point position. Perlini marking him. Gets him against the wall. And ends up winning that board battle as Southhorn is able to pick it out of there. And the Komets will begin the rush. Southhorn right down Broadway, leaves it for Szydlowski. He dumps it over and nobody home, so the Fuel back with it now at center. Jardine retreats, gets it to Franzen. Jumps over the stick of Hull as they enter into the K zone. Hamonic on Hall as they wheel behind Martin and into the near side corner. Hall loses Hamonic, walking in, poked away by Szydlowski, and coming away with it is Hamonic as they clear the zone. Szydlowski misplays the puck at center. Perlini now fights with it. Sid able to pull it out of there. 18 seconds left on the 4-on-4, and then we'll have a little bit of power play time. Belzile fighting off a defender to his knees, still with it. Some great stick handling by Belzile in between three guys. One-timer sent and a broken stick for Weber. Komets now on the power play as Daniels comes out of the box. And he'll retreat back in the D zone and now come over to the bench. Just 12 seconds left on this very short power play for the Komets as Miskovic finishes up his 2 minutes for interference. Meurs had it momentarily, and the Fuel clear, and now we're back to even strength. Still to 2-1. 11:40 left to go here in the second period. Komets in front. Meurs had that one deflected and then runs over Shane Owen, and he's going to head to the box for goalie interference as he just plowed over Owen, who's now doing his best acting to make sure that he draws the penalty. Meurs trying to make the case that he was forced into Owen on the rush. All right, we got a timeout of the ice. We're going to take a quick timeout. Fuel will be on the power play when we come out. You're watching. Indy Fuel on the power play as we come back from the timeout. Komets with a 2-1 lead here in the second period, but have taken two penalties in the last couple minutes. The first one canceled out after just 22 seconds because of a Fuel penalty that was committed. So we didn't get a lot of penalty kill time, kind of see how things were going. Get a chance right now. Hall in front. Martin able to cover up as he walked in. Weber sends Hall to the ice. Lavoie, center man on this number one power play unit for the Fuel. He will step to the dots against Kosierski. And Kosierski kind of weakly tries to clear it, unable to do so. Miskovic sends it down in deep, right in front. Martin, woo! That came out of nowhere and jumped off his pad and was just sitting in the middle of the crease. Luckily, Martin caught an eye on it and was able to cover up. All right, Brett Perlini now out there, facing it off, wins that one. And the Komets still unable to clear. Another bad clearing attempt as Martin comes out of the net, plays it behind. It's unusual on the power play, as losing his stick was Hall. Still has it lost, and we got a whistle behind the play for a hook. And it is going to be on the Fuel, Bembridge. So a hooking call on Bembridge, and just like we saw a couple minutes ago, as soon as the Fuel go on the power play, they commit a penalty, and we'll go 4-on-4. Fuel kind of shooting themselves in the foot, as Scott Hillman wants a serious explanation from referee Kenny Anderson on what that call was all about. He disagrees with it adamantly. Now Gary Graham getting some information. All right, so we'll go 4-on-4 now for the next minute and 20, and then the Komets will get 40 seconds of power play time on the back end after a hooking call. Komets win the faceoff. Southhorn deflected down in front, goes just to the left of Owen. All right, here's Stroh. Stroh trying to work around two defenders, unable to do so, but dumps it down into the corner. Belzile gathers, and now Wheels using the net as a pick and gets it over here to Southhorn. Southhorn powers through a defender, centers it for Embach. Embach now looking at his options, leaves it for Southhorn. He's taken down, and a 2-on-1 developing. This is White. One-timer on the way, and Martin the save. Ooh, nice save by Martin. The one-timer coming off the stick of Kyle Stroh. Southhorn taken down by White. No call. And it resulted in a 2-on-1 the other way. Embach did his best to get back into that, but good save. Those are the kind of saves you need from a goalie. Kind of keep you in things when you have a breakdown. You need a big save every once in a while, and Martin provided it there. Face-off won by the Komets. We are halfway through the period. 4-on-4 for the next 35 seconds. Will Weber off the wall to himself. Centering feed in front and deflected down behind the nets. Never found its way to Owen. Garrett Thompson trying to run it down in the corner. Fuel come away with it. Bly left all alone. Bly up the right side. Centering feed in. Another save by Martin. What a pretty one in front. And fanned on off into the corner. Alex Lavoie had another opportunity to get his second goal of the game. And Garrett Meurs now out of the box. So the Komets on the power play. And a big shot and another big save. That one sent in by Dylan Clark. Komets on the power play now, and too many men on the ice, I think we got. Too many men on the ice, I believe. Oh, maybe not. Drew Daniels does not agree with it. He was headed over to the bench. That's why I thought initially it was a too many men on the ice call. But now another opportunity for a power play. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct call. So it was behind the play. Don't know what Daniels got called for, but clearly referee Kenny Anderson not pleased with what he's seen over the last couple minutes. He just talked to both coaches after that call on the fuel for the hook. Kind of explained some of the chippiness that was going on that he wanted to see stop. And now he nabs Daniels for an unsportsmanlike contact. So we're going to have 26 seconds of 4-on-4, as we haven't seen 5-on-5 for a while now. And then after that, it's going to be a minute and 34 power play time for the Fuel. White will face it off as Britton gets booted out of the face-off circle once again. Belzile. And that one won so cleanly by White, comes all the way down.
2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct.
All right, Josh Britton working it around his own net over to Marshall. There's Britton to White. Oh, and an offside call as they enter the zone. 7 more seconds of 4-on-4 time before some power play time for the Fuel if they can keep themselves from making another penalty. But we talked about how cleanly it was played by the Komets in the first period. Garrett Graham didn't want to see as many penalties committed by the Komets, and now both teams have just been trading back and forth with penalties here in this second period. We literally haven't seen 5-on-5 play for about 4 minutes a game, 5 minutes of game action. All right, so Lavoie is out of the box. Next minute and 28 is going to be power play time for the Fuel. Komets got to buckle down. Hall didn't see that pass coming and miscue. They'll have to retreat. And that one deflected by Shaftsma in neutral. It gets all the way down inside the zone, but the Komets lose the battle on the board. And now Miskovic will set it up for the Fuel. Lavoie sends it in, backdoor, deflected behind the net. Lavoie, one-timer sent in, fought off with the blocker by Martin. Bembridge didn't get the best of wood on that one. Now Kosierski fights with 3 different Fuel players, kind of kill a little bit more penalty time. Lavoie over center, over to Bembridge. Bembridge on the left side, working around Soule. Now over to Hall. 27 seconds left on the power play. That one sent in front. Rebound in front. Another blocker save by Martin. Still loose. Over into the corner. Lavoie recorrals. Poked away, but not out by the Komets. Kyle Thomas kind of started breaking that thing up, and then they're able to clear. 8 seconds left, and Daniels is about out of the box. That'll bring an end to the power play for the Fuel. Good kill by the K's. Hamonic trying to run it down. Foot race with Bly. He's going to lose that most times, so he bodies him up. 7 minutes to go in the second period as Martin covers up. 2-1 Komets in what has been a penalty-laden second period for both squads, but hasn't resulted in anything. We remain at 2-1. Parkview Sports Medicine, our title sponsor here of Komet Hockey here on MyTV. And I want to remind everybody that Parkview Athletic Rehab is redefining sports performance and injury prevention through biomechanical assessments. To learn more or to schedule an appointment, just call Parkview Sports Medicine at 260-266-4007. Check that out. I mentioned on these broadcasts before, I have spent time with the guys at Parkview Athletic Rehab. Unfortunately, after tearing my Achilles last March, those guys got me back up and running in under 6 months, which is much shorter than the normal time. They did a great job, and we're ready to face things off again. Britton and Belzile, they've been battling all night. Britton wins that one. And White and Embach meet up in the corner. Komets able to clear. Here is Szydlowski. He lobs it down, bouncing puck, sticked into the corner by Owen. Embach fights with it, and coming away with it is Nick Madsen for the Fuel. Another big body check behind the play on Jordan Southhorn, as things definitely getting a little physical. All these penalties in the second have intensified things. Southie sent one in, and a blocker save by Owen. Here come the Fuel back the other way. Our first up and down action in a while. Hall trying to fight off Kosierski, and that battle continues behind the Komets' net. Miskovic misfires, and the Komets will be able to clear as a result. Shaftsma lets it play through to Belzile. And Szydlowski, hesitation, toe drag, and a blocker save, pad save by Owen again. Nice move by Sean Szydlowski, but an even better save by the netminder for the Fuel. Bembridge looks over his options, gets it to Lavoie. Lavoie now, one-timer sent in high off the glass by Bembridge and poked out. Kosierski going to run it down. Here come the Komets through neutral. The captain, Jamie Shaftsma. That one goes off a skate and back out to center. Luckily, Gabriel Beaupre is there for the Komets. 5:20 left to go in the second period. Tommy Schegler with you here from Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Renovated last year. And we're going to have a call. And that one is going to be a really, really silly penalty behind the play on Nikita Kosierski, as he sent Rhett Bly to the ice behind the play It will be a Indy Fuel power play when we return. You're watching My Komets on My TV.
My TV Fort Wayne.
Have said it way too many times in this second period. We come back from break with an Indy power play looking us dead in the eye. And that time it is Szydlowski going into the box. Interference called behind the play. Really had no bearing on the flow of the play that was going on, which, by the way, was a Komets rush headed into the Indy zone. And Szydlowski, as that one is gloved on the offering from Quick by Martin, and we'll get another face-off. You can tell Gary Graham really did not agree with that one on Kenny Anderson. Referee Kenny Anderson calling that interference call behind the play. Didn't agree with it, but we've been talking about it. It's been a problem for the Komets all year long, and it's something that really has to be addressed. You just have to play smarter, and that's the bottom line. You cannot give a team so many different opportunities with a man advantage and be consistently successful in a league that has as many talented players as one as the Coast does. And that's one of the things that they talked over the last couple weeks. I mentioned the meeting that Coach Graham had with his captains, talked about that very thing. Miskovic, point position, plays it down into the corner. And a fight for it there. Reversed it. Now it's set in from the circle, just wide of Martin off the mark. Miskovic plays it over to Lavoie. He winds and fires. That one goes just over the crossbar. Bembridge walking in. Looking for an open man. Finds it. And Sherrub's still with it. Halfway through this power play. Interference call. One-timer set in and gone wide by Bembridge. Kept in though. Bembridge again with it. And blocked down. And nice play by the defenseman Jordan Southhorn. And the Komets needed a clear, and they get it, and that one, Sean Szydlowski almost got called for another silly penalty. Stroh now with it, 40 seconds left. Too many men on the ice for about 10 seconds there that time by the Fuel, not called. Quick sends it down to Stroh. Stroh walking in, blocked down by Southey again. Southey, a couple really nice plays. Jamie Shasma unable to clear it. And the Fuel still have it. 16 seconds remain on the penalty. Clark sending it over. Jardine over to Lavoie. Lavoie walking in. Tries to send that one in on the short side, and Martin stuck to the side of the pole and knocked it down, and just 2 seconds remain on the power play. Komets look like they will be able to kill this one off. Komets got away with that one. Well, both teams really. Komets got away with one. Sean Szydlowski should have been called for a rough as he swung and connected with a player during that whole melee. And then right after that, a miscue on the line change. And the Fuel had too many men on the ice for about 7 or 8 seconds, as Komets now back at full strength with 3 minutes left to go in the period. Daniels whips one around the boards. Josh Britton plays it near side here. Komets keep it in. Szydlowski. And here's Thompson, tries the wrap around. It's knocked into the corner. Weber, Szydlowski centering feed, and a nice opportunity for Perlini goes wide. And the Fuel finally able to clear. First sustained zone time for the Komets in a while. Perlini dumps it back in. Matson misplays it with the glove. And line changes both ways as Seckel backhands it. And here's Clark. Clark will retreat back. Matson works around Szydlowski, and now comes up the middle of the ice. Check that, this is Marshall. Marshall down the left side. He wheels the whole way down, centering feed in front, and fanned on. Nice opportunity for Seckel, who was unable to cash on the beautiful feed by Marshall from behind the net. This is Kosierski, plays it to Cody Soul, the defenseman, big fella for the Komets. He kind of fanned on the pass, and it's intercepted. But here comes Kyle Thomas. Kyle Thomas around a defender. Kyle Thomas with some room and a pad save that goes high in the air and now into the corner. Komets will get a line change, and here comes Mike Embach flying in off the bench. Lay some wood on Bembridge. 1 minute remaining in the second period. Still 2-1. Komets, no scoring in this second period. Bembridge walking in. Bembridge loses the puck. Komets still trying to clear. Finally do so. Hamonic sends it down in, and Mike Embach will win that race. Fans on the pass. Garrett Meurs now here on the near side corner. They fight for it on the half wall, and the Fuel retreats and begin the rush now with Josh Britton at center. Carried into the zone. And here's Jardine, who loses the puck. Komets back the other way with 25 seconds left to go. Brett Perlini whips it into the cross corner. Garrett Thompson fighting for it down there with Miskovic. Comes out. Sean Szydlowski. Now Garrett Thompson. And Szydlowski high, and a big save by Owen. Sid had a wide open net, and Owen, falling to the ice, was able to reach it up and grab it out of the air with that glove. Wow, what a save that was, because backdoor feed to Sid, and he was open, but a pretty glove save by Owen prevents the Komets from going up 3-1. .11 seconds remain. Komets that close to taking a 3-1 lead with just 10 seconds left in the period. They win the face-off. Got to get it on net quickly, though. 5 seconds remain. Centering feed in front. One-timer just goes through the crease and wide, and that will bring an end to the second period that finishes with a flurry for the Komets, but results in no extra action on the scoreboard. We remain at 2-1 after 40. You're watching My Komets on My TV. A collaboration among Parkview Athletic Rehab, Parkview Physicians Group, Sport One Orthopedics, and AWP Sports Training. PSM provides performance and fitness training, advanced rehabilitation services, and nutrition consultations to sports enthusiasts at all levels. Give them a call if you're interested, 260-266-4007. Taking a look at that second period. I mentioned all of the penalties. 4 of them committed by the K's. A game misconduct to the coach, Scott Hillman, at one point with just a little bit of time left in the period. One of the many notable ones, but 4 different by the Komets there. And in the second period, if you include the game misconduct, 3 by the Fuel. Got to play a cleaner third period than the second period was, no doubt about that, if you're the Komets, as they hold a 2-1 lead headed into the final 20. It's 12-game broadcast schedule in the regular season for these Komet Road games on My TV. The next one is coming your way on January 2nd from Toledo. Ken Horman will be on the call that night. It'll be a 7:15 start time as Sherab comes into the zone, and the Fuel keep it there at the blue line. Quick sends it in, deflected in front but wide. Bly got some wood on that one, and Martin had no clue where it was. Luckily it was off the mark, and the Komets clear. Szydlowski sends it along the boards. Down to Shane Owen. Some really big saves in the latter portion of the second period to keep his team just 1 goal behind. One on Sean Szydlowski that 9 times out. That one in front, and a big save by Martin. Another save by Martin. Still behind the net as that one squirted out in front. And Lavoie almost had his second goal of the night. Another blocker save, pad save. That one off the mark by Jardine. Comes all the way out to center. Couple nice saves, as we were just talking about Shane Owen with some nice saves, as that'll be an icing. Come down to the other end, but just as we were talking about the Indy Fuel goalie, it's Martin that comes up big for the Komets in the early portions of the third. Spencer Martin, outside of that one misstep, has saves on 22 out of 23 shots that have come his way. Kosierski. That one sent in just over the outstretched glove of Martin. Jardine fighting for it with Cody Soul in the corner. Solar pins him up against the boards. Giving some help is Perry and Hall. Hall comes away with it momentarily. Gabriel Beaupre manned up, but comes away with it and powers through that check that was offered by Dylan Clark. But the forecheck working right now for the Fuel as Clark comes away with it. One touch by Jardine and nobody Holmes trying to hit a streaking White. And the Komets finally able to get it out of the zone there. Gary Graham talked about the forecheck of the Fuel headed into this game. Hasn't bothered the Komets that much throughout the course of this game, but in this early minutes of the third, as Britton sends a high one to the far side corner, and Garrett Meurs will motor up the far side and send one in that is deflected wide. That one wheeled in front by Southhorn, taken cleanly by Miskovic. Bly slips the defender and then is met by 2 Komets behind the nets. But one step quicker right now are the Fuel. Stick save by Martin, wheeled to the far side and cleared. Komets get a line change, looking for some kind of mix to subdue the suddenly speedy Fuel. And this is Garrett Thompson over to Szydlowski. Sid fires in behind Owen. There comes Stroh. Stroh, his pass jumps over the stick of Quick, and the Komets will come the other way. This crowd here inside of the Indiana Farmers Coliseum trying to urge their boys on. They want to see a game-tying goal here. Brett Perlini in on the forecheck. Bembridge, nice play on the boards to get it out. Unable to clear. Coming right down, and an almost goal there by Lavoie as he walked right down the middle. And Martin was able to just get a piece of that offering. Komets having a lot of problems right now. Ice tilted in the favor of the home Fuel, wearing their white and red. Clark and Cody Soul having a couple words. And Solar with it now, a rolling puck. Shimmies it along. I don't think anybody touched that. It's going to be an icing. Komets don't look good here in the early portions. Home game tomorrow for the Komets. 5 o'clock start time against Evansville. Tickets still available. Go ahead and hit up Ticketmaster and go on out and support the Komets. First of 7 straight home games. Rest of December going to be very key for the Komets as they try to make up some ground in the division, and they'll do it on home ice for the rest of 2015. High puck, knocked down, no call. Crowd wanted a cross-check on Will Weber. They will not get it. Things getting chippy here, and you don't want to see the Komets with another silly penalty, but they cannot get it out of the zone. Wide open, Stroh. Toe drag and a shot blocked way up into the sky. Glove down by Thomas, who gets it out of there and fights through a defender to clear it all the way down. Komets playing on their heels right now in the first 6 minutes of this third period. Poke check by Garrett Meurs at center, but the Fuel still get it down. High off the glass, played by the goalie Martin. To the middle, Meurs on the tape. Sends it inside. Embach tried to send one in. Didn't get a lot of wood on that one. And here's Hall. Hall's got nobody with him. Taken away easily by the Komet defenders. And now Embach will chase it all the way down. No icing here as Owen plays it in the trapezoid. And here's Lavoie. He's got Clark with him. Centered, blocked away by Daniels, and now poked up high into the corner. Hamonic works around a Fuel player, and K's are able to clear. Another bad pass, and it's right back in to the Komet zone. Centering feed deflected out to the point. Marshall, and a nice save, gobbled up. And a little extracurricular activity after the save by Martin. Timeout on the ice, still 2-1. Komets hanging on just barely, trying to survive a flurry by the Fuel. You're watching My Komets on My TV.
If there's anyone who can appreciate a satisfying...
Back to live action between the Komets and the Fuel. That one almost snuck by Owen as it deflected right in front. Komets still trying to apply pressure and keep it in. Played by Thompson and now taken away. And coming up the left side is Seckel. Seckel now in the middle, fighting through a defender, taken down. Seckel ends up in the back of the net. Gives a shot to Drew Daniels, who took him down to send him there. Brett Perlini now over the blue line. Right side to Szydlowski. Szydlowski swiping at it, but shuffled back behind the net, and here come the Fuel. To the middle, taken off the play at center was Stroh. Gabriel Beaupre, the big wind and fire to send it down in deep. Blocked down in the corner by Shaftsma. And now taken out of there and moved out of the Komet zone by the Fuel. Back and forth we go as Cody Soul sends it back in. Joe Perry applying some pressure to Miskovic. Perry still in there. Battling with Sherab. Shaftsma able to take him off the play, but then loses an edge. Sherab comes the other way with it. Waits for reinforcements and is smothered by Gabriel Beaupre. Shaftsma lobs it down and a bouncing puck. No icing here. Now come back the other way. Poked away by Garrett Meurs. He's all alone. Belzile plays it up. Southhorn hesitates and now sends it wide of the cage. Embach in front. Meurs sends it on and smothered by Owen. And then a couple of extra shoves on Garrett Meurs. See if there's any ramifications for what just took place. Doesn't look like there will be. Garrett Graham, couple words for the line that he's sending out on the ice before they trot out. That line, Brett Perlini, Garrett Thompson, and Sean Szydlowski. They will do battle against the Josh Britton line. Stroh loses. In front, and score! Brett Perlini lights the lamp on a nice feed from Thompson. And the Komets take a 3-1 lead. A key goal in this game, and it's scored by the Komets as they take a 3-1 lead with 11 minutes left to go. On a nice play, it was Stroh winning the faceoff, but the Komets forced the turnover. And then a couple nice passes later, Pearls was coming down Main Street wide open and went top shelf to beat Shane Owen. And that one jumps up into the Komets bench.
Hey, Goop fans, we want to invite you to a very special event, the Fuel Tank and Fishers, December 26, 8 a.m. or 24 hours to December 27th, 8 a.m.
I want to remind everybody about the event we were talking about for the Komets coming up on Wednesday. It's at the Tilted Kilt in Jefferson Point. Some of the guys will be out there this coming Wednesday, the 16th. Mike Embach, Pat Nagel, Cody Soul, and Drew Daniels. Of course, Icy will be on hand as well. 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Guys signing autographs, taking pictures with fans, so go on out and see the guys on Wednesday, Tilted Kilt, Jefferson Point. That one bouncing around in front. Here's Quick. D to D over to the other side. Couple defenders in front and snatched out of the air with the glove by Martin. Couple nights before that Wednesday event that we're talking about, Monday, you wanted the opportunity to get a chance to talk to Kyle Thomas, forward for the Komets. You can do so out at the Sport One Parkview Ice House, as another edition of Sound Off with the Komets will come your way that night. 7:30 till 8 o'clock upstairs in the Thirsty Penguin. Great food and drink specials provided to fans who come on out. You also get a chance to enter to win an autographed Komets jersey by the team at the end of the year. So if you can't come on out in person, you can always tune in on 21 Alive. That's Sound Off the Komets Monday night at 7:30. Back here to live action. Komets have scored a key goal in this game last couple minutes. Brett Perlini gets his 6th goal of the season. And now the Fuel need to make something happen. Barely onside, they come into the zone. Big slap shot sent in by Jardine, but with nobody in front of him. Spencer Martin has no problem gloving that one down. And we're now under 10 minutes to go in the game. Tommy Schegler here with you. You catch all the highlights of this one tonight on your home for the K's, 21 Live. Dean Pantazzi will be all over it. Brett Perlini wins the face-off in his own zone, and the Komets will clear it out. Garrett Thompson on his horse, but Jardine cuts in and plays it ahead. Now Will Weber will receive it. Over to his D partner, Drew Daniels. Back to Weber. That one deflected all the way deep into the zone, whipped around the boards. Clark does battle with Thompson, and they get it out to center. Drew Daniels now with it again, and a whistle for a high stick. It's going to be Britton. They were battling there, Daniels and Britton got the old shillelagh up in the face of Drew Daniels, to steal a term from one Kent Horman. So Komets will be on the power play. They could really try to put this one away here with a goal. Power play clicking at a 23% clip. headed into tonight. They scored the power play goal in their first opportunity tonight. 1 of 3 so far, and this will be their 4th attempt. Big shot sent in, pad save by Martin. Losing a stick behind the play is Clark. Komets have a chance to take advantage. Belzile sends it along and actually did not get some wood on that, so it'll be an icing. They'll come back down to the other end. Belzile, Meurs, as well as Thomas and Embach working the power play. Jordan Southhorn, the only defenseman, running the point. Komets win the face-off, and now they will begin to rush it up with 1 minute and 35 left to go, and the high-sticking penalty to Josh Britton. Center feed in front. Meurs a wrister that goes high just over the bar, and Owen had no idea where that one was. May have even clipped the bar, to tell you the truth. Hard to see from this angle. It was very close to being the 4th goal of the game for the K's. Here's Embach. Back up to Southhorn. Southhorn running the point. He's got Szydlowski now. Sauces it back to Southhorn, who blasts one in. Meurs fanned on one, but Szydlowski keeps it in. Sid in the slot. Pass over. Thomas. Thomas to Szydlowski again. Komets don't. Again, they're going to call him for a hand pass. It'll come out of the zone. And Thomas looked like he was going to have an opportunity there. Was unable to pull the trigger. And then the hand pass. So 48 seconds left on the power play for the Komets. Komets win the face-off. See what happens here. Joe Perry out there with Perlini. They fight for it here on the near side. Come away with it. Thomas. Szydlowski winds, and that one deflected up into the mesh. A good play by Ben Marshall. Szydlowski was in prime scoring territory and had a look at it, but Marshall gets the stick in there. 31 seconds now. Another face-off will come in the fuel zone. Lavoie and Perlini. Pearls wins it out to the point. Southhorn, Szydlowski. A little too quick, but Southie keeps it in. Daniels now. That one deflected and just stays in. Thompson will fight for it with Miskovic. Over to Thompson. Now Southhorn. Southhorn, and that one sails high. And that will about bring the end to the power play for the Komets. One little rush as Britton comes out of the box. We're back at equal strength. And that one deflected in front, loose still, and swiped out of there by the Fuel. Here's Matson. That one deflected by Britton. They keep it in, though. Komets trying to get it out of there. Clark will send one that sails wide. Quick keeps it in on the far side. Half wall over to Stroh. He wheels and fires in. Knocked down out of the air by Perlini, and he'll clear it all the way down. That's going to go for an icing, though. And we'll come back to the other side. Parkview Sports Medicine is our title sponsor of these broadcasts. Parkview Sports Medicine provides performance and fitness training, advanced rehabilitation services, and nutrition consultations for sports enthusiasts at all levels. You can learn more by calling PSM 260-266-4007. And Gary Graham has used his timeout here with a little over 6 minutes to go. His guy's maybe a little winded. He's got a 2-goal lead. He just wants to make sure that They don't make any big mistakes. They go over a couple things for the last 6 minutes of this game. 7 games at home for the Komets will be an important stretch. And you look back at the end of the year, this big, long homestand, 8 out of 9 games, going to be a very important stretch for the K's. Losing the first of those games in overtime last night to this same Indy team. Now coming back on the road, trying to make up for that here tonight, and they have a 2-goal lead in the third. Thompson, Beaupre, wrister on the way, still in front, loose in front, and that one squirted out to the far side. Thompson, though, just could not get a shot in as Cody Soul plays it off the glass. Here's Franzen, Hall with it at the dot, spin move, backhander, goes behind Martin in the cage. Lavoie back to Hall, in front, and that one sails wide. Bembridge a golden opportunity and kind of fanned on it. And a rolling puck, Franzen will play that as the Komets get a quick line change with 5 minutes left to go. Komets with a 2-goal lead, trying to hang on and get out of here with a road win. Big drive coming in by Jardine from the point. Kept in. Jardine's back with it. He sends a shot pass to the left there. Back out to the point. Marshall looks it over. Wheels. Centering feed redirected, and another save by Martin. Cover it up. A great save by the goalie, Spencer Martin, on a redirect right in front of him, and the Komets remain in front by 2. We have a timeout on the ice. You're watching My Komets on My TV.
On My TV Fort Wayne.
.450 to go in the game. Komets with a 2-goal lead. 3-1, trying to hang on against a surging team in the Fuel that are coming at the Komets with everything they got right now. Matson going to have to run that one down in the corner. Mike Embach trying to provide pressure, and it's Clark in the middle. Sends it over to Lavoie. He has the lone goal for the Fuel all the way back in the first period. That one sent in and score. Kevin Quick scores the goal for the Fuel, and suddenly it's 3-2. Couple of extra teddy bears make their way out onto the ice. After the teddy bear toss earlier in the game. All right, so 3-2 now with 4:12 left to go in the game. Komets really have to bear down. No room for error at this point. We mentioned the pressure that the Fuel had started to apply over the last couple minutes, and it pays off. Stroh over to Quick, who just scored it. White keeps it in. That one deflected off into the corner. Weber trying to get it out of there. And Garrett Thompson sends it along. No icing.
Score by number 24, Dylan Clark.
Oh, they are crediting the goal. They are crediting the goal to Dylan Clark. Kevin Quick gets the assist. So Clark must have gotten a stick on that in front and redirected it. So the official score goes to Dylan Clark. Assist instead goes to Kevin Quick. Not that it matters. It makes it 3-2 either way. Komets have got to survive for the next 2:52. We will keep an eye on the goalie, Shane Owen. See when Scott Hillman wants to pull his netminder and get an extra attacker out of there. But this crowd that was just announced at just over 5,000 definitely back into this thing. Urging that team on. Miskovic sends it over to Lavoie. Meurs picks the pocket, and then Miskovic steps right in and takes it right back. Komets not getting anything going to put any kind of pressure on the other end of the ice at this point. Total defense mode. Belzile, light pressure on the forecheck, and now retreats back for the bench. 2 minutes left as Hall tips it in. Southhorn backhands it over Szydlowski, and Szydlowski will not be able to clear it out. Instead, it goes to the far corner. Garrett Thompson, though, is able to get it out of there. 1:45 to go. With every rush, we'll have to take a look at when Owen will come out of there. In front backhander, and it just goes wide by Garrett Thompson. That would have been interesting. All right, here's White. Owen is starting to creep out, trying to get it cleanly into the zone, and then Owen will take it out of there, but Koszyrski has other thoughts at this point with 1:15 to go. Fuel just got to get it up, and then Owen will be coming out. Marshall will be the man to try to start that rush. It flips up and out of play on the deflection. 1:05 remaining. All right, the face-off will come just outside of the fuel zone. The captain, Jamie Shafsma, will be on the ice. He's 10th forward tonight. A one face-off for the fuel will go a long way into getting their netminder out of there, but Shafsma comes through. And now Owen will come out. As Clark, centering feed in front, poked away at the last minute by Shafsma. What a play! High into the air, center to the center. Empty net. 45 seconds to go. Komets trying to hold on to a one-goal lead here on the road. Gabriel Beaupre tries to clear it. He's unable to do so. In front, loose in front, sticked away and pitchforked out of there by Kyle Thomas. 25 seconds left to go. Likely the last real flurry and rush coming now by the Fuel. Garrett Thompson able to take a peek, and he sends it instead across ice with 10 seconds remaining. They need to get it up, and it does not look like they're going to be able to do so. Marshall sends one last one in, and that will be the game. The Komets will get the win on the road, 3-2. A big win for Spencer Martin and the K's as they bounce back after the overtime loss at home last night, 3-2, and come on the road and get a 3-2 win against the Indy Fuel. We're going to take our last break and then come back to wrap things up. You're watching My Komets on My TV.
Hey, Courtney Hansen here with you for Endurance. If you're like me, you love your car, but even the best vehicles break down at some point. And when your car's warranty expires, you're going to have to pay those repairs out of pocket. Can you believe what it costs to repair your car these days? I mean, look at these prices. I can think of so many things I would rather buy than a new fuel injector or transmission. Well, Endurance has a solution.
Presented by Parkview Sports Medicine and airing exclusively on My TV Fort Wayne.
As Indy made up a lot of ground in those last few minutes. 33-31, Komets getting outshot, although they did outshoot the Fuel for most of the game.